let's get into the first topic, ladies and gentlemen. And that has to do with me removing this video so I stop making that mistake. Yes, we got Destiny 2 and Star Wars having a collaboration, and it has been confirmed, apparently. An upcoming Destiny 2 expansion puts players in the Star Wars universe with familiar weapons and outfits from the iconic movie franchise. After a massive wave of layoffs in July of 2024, Destiny 2 fans feared the worst. However, Bungie stepped forward and committed to supporting the game with regular updates. The team followed through on that promise in January by announcing Star Wars skins and cosmetics as part of Heresy Act 1. You know what's so weird? How do they have the money for this, considering that they suffered massive layoffs? They fired a bunch of people. How did you get the money to pay for all this licensing and stuff? Unless they already had it and I didn't know about it. But this is pretty interesting. Additionally, Bungie announced that the next expansion, The Edge of Fate, will launch on July 15th. And that's not the only update to look forward to. So I want to see if they have some screenshots. Hold on. Bungie shared a teaser trailer for the Renegades expansion, which is set to launch in December of 25. If players pre-order the Destiny 2 Year of the Prophecy Ultimate Edition for $100, they get Star Wars-inspired Dark Side's armor ornament sets for a Hunter, Titan, and Warlock. This includes outfits for Kylo Ren, General Grievous, and Darth Vader. Bro. This is what we're doing in Destiny now. Destiny's becoming a little bit of Fortnite now. That we have to collaborate with other known IPs in order to get people to want to play the game, especially to spend $100 fucking dollars. And you know what the sad thing is? I'm sure there are a lot of Bungie fans out there that are going to just willingly spend this money. I just know that's the fact. Just because they want to be able to have the Star Wars stuff. But my thing is, like, you're trying to utilize a franchise that currently right now has a lot of people that are angry at it, and hoping that it's going to make people either come back to the game to spend $100 on it just for them to potentially quit afterwards. I mean, I don't know. Just seems a little odd to me. Like, if this was like, I don't know, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. But this is not today, bro. Star Wars doesn't have that level of status, I guess you could say, anymore. I was looking for the pictures. They had the pictures, but then I guess they took it down, which is odd. I'm going to see if I can... Let me see. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay, I found it. So if you look here, Year of the Prophecy Ultimate Edition. Let me scroll down. Try to get a better picture. I got it. Here we go. All right, so this is what it looks like. For those curious. Darth Vader looks fucking gay, bro. What's that? Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, General Grievous. These are the skins that you will get if you spend $100 in order to get it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm sure a lot of you are just excited to want to run out there and spend $100 on Destiny 2 in order to get Star Wars-inspired skins like this. I'm sure that's going to happen. Darth Gator. Darth Gator's hilarious, bro. Degenerate's funny. Yeah, this is pretty. This is a pretty straightforward cash grab. I got to be honest with you. It's a pretty straightforward cash grab. But you know what? Listen, it is what it is. Good for Destiny 2 players. I mean, whoever's still playing Destiny 2 at this point is pretty hardcore, I imagine, in the game, which is fine. Let them enjoy what they want. But this is a pretty blatant cash grab at this point. But it's no different than any other cash grab that's out there, like Fortnite doing their ridiculous skins and whatnot. Destiny decided, hell, if they do it, we could do it too. Fuck it. It's kind of sad because all of these video games that used to have their own identities are now slowly but surely just becoming like pop culture dumping grounds, where Fortnite pretty much really made that mainstream, where they would have multiple different collaborations with like music artists. Once Eminem showed up in Fortnite, I was like, all right, bro, this is when we're becoming ridiculous. And then on top of that, now you got Call of Duty doing the same exact thing. You got Call of Duty running around fucking Ninja Turtles and shit. And now you got Destiny doing the exact same thing as well. So they're all pretty much doing it now, where all of them are trying to sell other franchises in pop culture in order to generate money for their particular video game that is slowly but surely going to lose their identity. It's kind of sad. Before you know it, when you're playing Destiny 2, you're going to have a bunch of people in Star Wars outfits, Ninja Turtle outfits, all kinds of shit running around. Call of Duty with Seth Rogen? Bro, I know. Seth Rogen, Nicki Minaj, bro, like what? Why would I want to run around Call of Duty looking at Nicki Minaj and Seth fucking Rogen? Bro, that takes me out of the experience. I don't know about anybody else. I know people, I'm sure kids love this shit. I'm sure they get their parents to spend crazy money, I'm sure. But it just makes it so unserious. It makes the entire identity just go bye-bye to me. But in any case, this is it. If you were curious about having a Star Wars skin in Destiny 2, you will now be able to have that. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. Next topic. This should be a fun one. If this is who I think it is, this is not the first time they said some stupid shit like this. But in any case, former PlayStation head says Ghost of Yote beats Tsushima. Just without even trying. According to Shuhei Yoshida, a former PlayStation head, Ghost of Yote is even better than Ghost of Tsushima. During an interview with France-based PlayStation Inside, thanks to Games Radar, Shuhei Yoshida was asked about whether there was a specific formula for Western games to work in Japan, with PlayStation set to release Ghost of Yote this October. Yoshida answers, stating he doesn't know whether there is a recipe as such, and that the developers need an understanding of Japan and its culture, especially for games set in the country and its history. You know what's interesting? So he was asked this question, whether there was a specific formula for Western games to work in Japan. I mean, whatever that formula may be, it's very clear that Ghost of Tsushima had that formula, because Ghost of Tsushima sold extremely well in Japan. It was the #1 selling game in Japan for a very long time. It sold an insane amount of copies. It sold like 20 or 30 times more than Assassin's Creed Shadows did in Japan. It's not even close. So why would you ask this person if there's a formula for how Western games can work in Japan when Tsushima already had that formula to begin with, right? But then it says Yoshida revealed with Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch was working extensively with a Japanese producer at SIE, along with colleagues at the Japan studio. This move was integral during brainstorming and pitching ideas, as the developers of Japanese origin could confirm whether the ideas were respectful to the country. Oh, so they did basically the exact opposite of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows had hired some fucking woman who her entire expertise is researching the gay relationships of Buddhas and young boys, because she's into that for some reason. But these people decided to do the complete opposite and actually go to a Japanese studio and learn and utilize them as a means of consultant work. So they actually did the right thing. Interesting. Okay. Not surprised why their game was so much better. Yoshida then added that Sucker Punch also visited Tsushima Island to learn their culture and history, which is why the island's unique atmosphere can be felt in the game through the wind system. Ghost of Tsushima also helped bring more tourism to real-life Island too, which is sad because now it seems as if the tourism is becoming an issue. But that's a whole nother story. Yoshida then explained that to sell a game in Japan when making a game set in the country, the developers need to understand the country throughout, which I agree with that. Yoshida concluded that he has played Ghost of Yote at several stages of its development, and having played Ghost of Tsushima 2, he can assure players that the upcoming title will be even better than that Sucker Punch has done it again. Listen, I would love to believe him. I really would. But that's going to take a lot of convincing. That's going to take a lot of gameplay being shown, which we haven't really seen much, by the way. Still, that's going to take a lot of convincing in the game itself. Like, I'm going to have to see if this is really true or not. But to be honest with you, I just don't see how that's normally possible. Think about it from the perspective of most sequels are not as good as the originals, right? Some sequels are as good. Some sequels are even better, right? But most sequels usually are not as good as the original in some factors here and there. You can say that's rose-tinted glasses. You could say that's nostalgia, whatever. But just based off that alone, the chance of this game being better than the original is probably very slim. But still, you never know. And also, on top of that, a lot of people obviously have an issue with the voice actress for whatever the fucking name. What's the character's name again? I don't know where Atu. I don't know where her name is. Yoshida recently praised Ghost of Yote's early development progress too. Also, the game's digital deluxe edition is topping PS Store pre-order charts. What are your thoughts on Ghost of Yote? Can you guys stop this shit? Like they constantly try to do this to drum up hype in the hope that people go out and buy this game because they know that they are trying to adhere to people's innate human instinct to not want to be left out. When they constantly talk about pre-orders, they really need to stop because so many companies are utilizing this point of conversation to convince everybody that they're making the right choice in buying this game. And they only ever bring it up usually for controversial games. Have you guys noticed that? Have you guys noticed that they only ever bring up pre-order charts usually with controversial games? It's because they want to convince you that the chuds don't matter. They want to convince you that people who are angry are just a small minority, right? But the simple fact of the matter is people are angry for a reason. And the game is still going to do fairly well. I got to imagine Ghost of Tsushima left a really good, pause, but taste in people's mouth. That's just what it is. And I think that most people will be willing to give it at least a second chance. But you can't blame people for being easily turned off. Not even just the idea of a female lead character, samurai, whatever. Not just based off that idea. Because for me, as long as her story makes sense, I'm down. But for me, my biggest issue is I wanted more Jin Sakai, and I'm not getting that. Right? I heard there was a Ghost of Tsushima 2, and I was inherently looking forward to a Ghost of Tsushima 2. And instead, I'm getting Ghost of Yote, which that is inherently disappointing. That's very difficult to get around. So I guess we'll see. But keep in mind, there is many video games that try to tell you that the pre-orders are off the fucking charts, right? Pre-orders are through the roof. Star Wars Outlaws, pre-orders are through the roof. Assassin's Creed Shadows, oh my God, we're damn near the #1 pre-ordered game everywhere. In Japan, in the United States, everywhere. They all say that. And that it ends up being bullshit every single fucking time. So that's why I keep saying, stop with this nonsense, bro. Who cares about the pre-order charts? Let's see how the game does when it actually comes out. And let's see what the game is really about when it's out. Because God knows you guys are not going to show very much of it because you know it's controversial. You're going to try to keep it as tight-lipped as humanly possible. Exactly. Concord. Wait, didn't they say that with Concord too? They said that with Concord too. I think you're right. They said Concord was going to be, Concord was highly pre-ordered. Like, people were excited about it. Pre-orders looked good for the game. They said that. And then the game came out and it just completely fucking tanked. So I would not be surprised. All right, boys. Let's kill this subject really quick.